Hello YouTube, welcome to my next video on Excel formulas. In this video we will be learning about count series formulas in Excel. First we will see simple count formula followed by COUNTIF and COUNTIFS. Then we will see COUNTA and then finally CountBlank. So let's get started. The first formula is the count, and as the name itself says, it is used to count the number of entries within a given range of cells without any conditions. Let me add the formula into this cell and then review its parameters. The parameters are value 1, value 2, value 3 and it goes on. You can provide the input to these parameters by selecting each individual cells separated by commas like this, or else you can select a group of cells in one shot like this, close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will see the value will be 16 and that is the total number of entries in this given range of selection. The one important point that we need to remember in count formula is this formula will only count the numerical entries and it will never count the text entries in a given range of cells. What I mean is, suppose if I add the same formula here to count the number of entries in this range of cells which has only text values, you will see the output of the formula will be 0. Means this formula will never count the text values. Let me show you one more example by mixing up both the values. I will select two text values and two numerical values. You will see the output of the formula will be 2. Means it will only count the numerical entries and it will ignore the text entries. The next formula is COUNTIF. Let me add the formula into this cell and then review its parameters. There are two parameters and both are required. The first parameter is the range and the second parameter is the criteria. One important thing here is the value of the criteria must be within this range. It cannot be out of this range. So first let me select the range, and within this range, suppose I want to count the number of entries of 4000. Means I want to count how many times the 4000 has been repeated in this particular selection. I will select the criteria as 4000, that is cell C3. Close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will see the value is 3. That is 1, 2 and 3 entries of 4000. One good news about COUNTIF is you can use this formula on text values as well. Suppose if I want to count the number of January entries in this particular selection, I will select the criteria as Jan, close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will see there are 4 entries of Jan in this particular selection. The next is COUNTIFS. Let me add the formula into this cell and then review its parameters. The first parameter is the criteria range 1, second is criteria 1. The one important thing to note here again is the value of the criteria 1 must be within criteria range 1. Similarly for criteria range 2, criteria 2, criteria range 3 and criteria 3. It goes on in the same format. So using this formula you can add n number of conditions depending upon your requirement. So let me be clear with my objective here. I want to know how many times the value 4000 comes up in the month of January. So my first criteria will be month of January and the second criteria will be value of 4000. So the first parameter is criteria range 1. This is the range. Criteria 1 will be January month. You can select any cell with the value of January here. Criteria range 2. This is the range. Criteria 2 will be 4000. So the combination of January and 4000 is only 1. So the output of the formula will also be 1. So this is how you can use COUNTIFS formula. The next is COUNTA formula. If you remember in my previous section I had told count formula is only used to count the numerical entries in a given range of cells but not the text entries. So to overcome the limitation of count formula, COUNTA formula has been introduced in the Excel, and here the A stands for alphabetical values, means the text values. So you can perform the count operation even on the text values using COUNTA formula. So let me add the formula here, that is COUNTA. The parameters of COUNTA are similar to count formula. So let me select the range, close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will see there are 16 entries for numerical values. Similarly you can perform the count operation even on the text values here. Close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will see there are 16 entries even in the text values. The last formula in this section is the CountBlank, and as the name itself says, this formula is used to count the blank entries in a given range of cells. So let me first create the blank entries by deleting these three values and then use the formula CountBlank to count these blank entries. The parameter is the range. Select the range, close the parenthesis and hit enter. You will get the count as 3, that is 3 blank entries in this range. And that comes to an end of my video. In my next video, I will be taking up all the formulas that is related to text values. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned.